Spartacus. The name echoes through history, a symbol of defiance against tyranny. His story begins not in the grandeur of Rome, but in the rugged lands of Thrace. This region, now part of modern-day Bulgaria, was a land of fierce warriors and proud tribes. Spartacus, born a Thracian, likely belonged to the Maiae tribe. These people were known for their skill in battle, their courage tested against neighbouring tribes and encroaching empires. Life in Thrace was harsh, demanding strength and resilience. These qualities were ingrained in Spartacus from a young age. Though the details of his early life remain shrouded in mystery, we can surmise that Spartacus received the traditional upbringing of a Thracian warrior. He would have learned to ride, to wield weapons, and to face danger with unwavering resolve. These skills, honed in the wilds of Thrace, would serve him well in the trials to come. Fate, however, had a cruel twist in store for Spartacus. He would become a pawn in the vast and brutal machinery of the Roman Republic. The circumstances surrounding his enslavement are unclear. Some accounts suggest he was captured during a skirmish with Roman legions, his courage mistaken for aggression. Others propose he might have even served as an auxiliary soldier in the Roman army, only to be later condemned to slavery for unknown reasons. Whatever the path, Spartacus found himself stripped of his freedom, his destiny no longer his own. He was sold to a lanista, a trainer of gladiators, and taken to Capua, a city south of Rome. Capua was home to one of the most renowned gladiator schools in the Roman Republic. Here, Spartacus was thrust into a brutal world of survival and spectacle. He was forced to endure grueling training, mastering the art of combat not for glory, but for the amusement of Roman citizens. Every day was a struggle against both his captors and fellow slaves, all vying for survival in a system designed to break them. The spirit of a warrior, however, is not easily extinguished. Spartacus, despite the hardships he endured, refused to be broken. He saw the despair in the eyes of his fellow gladiators, men and women torn from their homelands and forced to fight for their lives. He recognized their shared yearning for freedom, a yearning that resonated deep within his own soul. In 73 BC, this simmering discontent ignited into open rebellion. A plan was hatched, a desperate gamble for freedom. Spartacus, along with about 70 other gladiators, seized kitchen implements as weapons and fought their way out of the gladiator school in Capua. Their escape was a testament to their courage and desperation. They were outmatched, outgunned, yet driven by a force far greater than themselves, the burning desire for freedom. News of their daring escape spread like wildfire, igniting a spark of hope in the hearts of slaves across the region. Spartacus's rebellion had begun. The escaped gladiators, led by Spartacus and his co-commanders Crixus and Enomas, sought refuge on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius. This seemingly insignificant event would soon send shockwaves through the Roman Republic. Their initial success against a local militia sent a clear message. These were not mere escaped slaves, but a force to be reckoned with. Word of the rebellion spread, attracting thousands of desperate souls eager to break free from the shackles of Roman oppression. Shepherds, farmers, miners, all answered the call, swelling the ranks of Spartacus's army. His charisma, his vision of a life beyond slavery, resonated with the downtrodden masses. He offered them not just freedom, but hope. Spartacus, however, knew that survival depended on more than just numbers. He understood the importance of discipline and organization. Under his leadership, the escaped slaves transformed from a ragtag band of rebels into a formidable fighting force. They scavenged weapons and armor from fallen enemies, and Spartacus, drawing upon his Thracian military knowledge, drilled his followers in the art of war. The Roman Senate, initially dismissive of the slave uprising, began to take notice as reports of Spartacus's victories reached Rome. What began as a local disturbance was quickly escalating into a full-blown rebellion, a direct challenge to Roman authority. The Senate dispatched legions under the command of praetors to quell the uprising. They believed this would be a swift and decisive campaign, a mere show of force to remind the slaves of their place. They underestimated the strategic brilliance of Spartacus. He knew his ragtag army was no match for the disciplined might of the Roman legions in a conventional battle. Instead, he adopted guerrilla tactics. using the terrain to his advantage, launching surprise attacks and exploiting the legion's weaknesses. His victories, though impressive, were only a prelude to the larger conflict to come. Spartacus's goal was not to conquer Rome, but to escape its clutches. He aimed to lead his people north, across the Alps and back to their homelands. He understood the limitations of his makeshift army and the overwhelming might Rome could unleash if provoked. Yet, internal divisions and the allure of plunder would soon complicate his plans, setting the stage for a tragic confrontation. The Roman Senate, outraged by the continued defiance of the slave army, entrusted the campaign to Marcus Licinius Crassus, one of Rome's wealthiest and most ambitious men. Crassus, eager to prove himself a capable military leader, marched south with 8 legions, determined to crush the rebellion and restore Roman honor. What followed was a deadly game of cat and mouse across the Italian peninsula. Spartacus, seeking to avoid direct confrontation with Crassus's superior forces, continued his strategy of hit-and-run tactics, raiding towns and villages for supplies while keeping the Romans off balance. He inflicted several defeats on Crassus's lieutenants, showcasing his tactical brilliance and the ferocity of his followers. However, Crassus's response was swift and brutal. He employed a tactic known as decimation to instill discipline in his ranks, punishing entire cohorts for cowardice. This act of cruelty sent a chilling message. Failure was not an option. Spartacus, sensing the change in the Roman strategy, knew that the time for decisive action was approaching. He had to break free from Crassus's grip or face annihilation. Spartacus's plan was to escape Italy by sea. He struck a deal with Cilician pirates to transport his army across the Adriatic Sea, but they betrayed him, lured by the promise of a larger reward from the Romans. Trapped in the southern Italian peninsula, with Crassus's legions closing in and his escape route cut off, Spartacus made a fateful decision. He would turn and fight. The final battle took place near the Salaris River in 71 BC. Spartacus, knowing this was his last stand, rallied his exhausted and outnumbered forces. He is said to have slain his own horse, declaring that if they were victorious, he would have his pick of steeds from the enemy. But if they were defeated, he would need none. The battle raged for hours, a desperate struggle for survival against overwhelming odds. Spartacus, a true warrior to the end, fought with the fury of a man possessed, seeking to reach Crassus himself. Accounts differ on the exact circumstances of his death, but all agree that he fought with unmatched courage, his spirit unbroken even in defeat. His body was never definitively identified, adding to the legend of the warrior who defied Rome. Though Spartacus's rebellion was ultimately crushed, his story did not end on that blood-soaked battlefield. He became a symbol of hope for the oppressed, a testament to the indomitable spirit of those who dare to fight for freedom against insurmountable odds. His name echoed through the centuries, inspiring countless others to rise up against tyranny. In the centuries that followed, Spartacus's legend grew, fueled by both historical accounts and fictionalized retellings. He became a folk hero, his story a potent symbol of resistance against oppression. From literature to music, from paintings to films, Spartacus's story has been told and retold, each iteration adding new layers to his complex legacy. In the 20th century, Spartacus's story took on renewed significance, becoming a rallying cry for social justice movements around the world. His fight for freedom resonated with those struggling against inequality and oppression, reminding them that even in the face of overwhelming power, the human spirit could not be broken. Spartacus's legacy is not just about a slave revolt in ancient Rome, but about the enduring human desire for freedom, equality, and dignity. His story continues to inspire, to challenge, and to remind us that the fight for justice is a timeless and universal struggle. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history on History Uncovered. We're passionate about bringing you the stories and events that have shaped our world, and we're thrilled you're along for the ride. If you enjoyed this episode and want to explore more historical tales, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating content that dives deep into the past. We'd also love to hear your thoughts and suggestions, so feel free to leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next adventure through history.